Hey everyone, imagine this. This explorer is in search of his beloved woman but discovers that destiny isn't playing around, because this is the movie Imprint from 2006. So get ready, because we'll have a lot of plot twists today. Let's recap. It all starts with a small boat crossing a dark and eerie lake, and a bunch of people with crazy expressions are arriving. In the midst of them is a foreigner, and they all start making fun of him. However, he chooses to remain silent. Along the way, they accidentally hit something, and it turns out to be a body. Upon reaching the island, it seems like a party place. A geisha is playing a two-stringed guitar, and everyone is excited. But here's the catch: in a window, there are women who seem eager to have some fun. That place turns out to be the home of Eastern programmers. The foreigner starts looking, but nothing really catches his interest because they all seem the same. However, in the background, he notices a different woman who's hiding and reluctant to work. The owner of the place starts hitting her to make her bring in money. A strange short guy appears and asks what he's looking for, mentioning they have all kinds of women. The foreigner says he's searching for a woman named Komomo. The owner claims he doesn't know who she is and never heard that name before, but his expression clearly suggests otherwise. Since the foreigner has no options, he says he'll leave, but the owner informs him that there are no boats back at this hour, and it's dangerous. As a foreigner, he gets a discount on a room and an escort. He chooses the woman from the background, sensing she knows something. With nothing else to do, he goes to the room, and there, he's treated well. They bring in dinner, and he starts reminiscing about the woman he met, the one who stole his heart. Her name was Komomo. He met her during one of his exploratory trips, and he promised to take her to his world so they could live happily. But when he returned to find her, she had disappeared. He's been searching since then, and this place was her last known location. It's safe to say things don't go well from here, as it seems he mistook his in-laws' house for his cousin's place. A woman appears, and it's quite dark, but when she turns on the lights, it's revealed that she has a secret. She's part geisha, part cousin, and part joker. She starts serving him and mentions she's willing to do anything he desires. She explains that she doesn't like to be seen because people are afraid of her. She goes on to share that due to her condition, she sees the spiritual world, and it's quite frightening. Michael asks where Komomo is, and she questions what he plans to do when he finds her. He responds that he would take her home because he promised, but here comes the first plot twist. She reveals that she arrived on the island about a year ago but passed away. Michael starts getting angry because he had been searching for her for many years, and we all know in real life, he'd arrive and she'd have at least 3 kids from various fathers. He asks how this happened, and she explains that one day she grew tired of waiting for the magical prince to come rescue her, and so she passed away because it was a nightmare. Michael starts breaking things because the Komomo he knew wouldn't have done that. She had a pure heart. Now he's disheartened because he has no more purpose in life and has wasted all this time. He lies down, not knowing what to do, and the woman starts suggesting he could still enjoy the night. She begins getting handsy, saying she may not have a pretty face, but she knows how to do different things. However, we know that when a man is disappointed, the only thing that rises is sadness. So, he's not interested in her. With nothing else to do, he asks her to tell a story about herself, and the geisha shares that no one ever wanted to know anything about her, especially due to her appearance. She begins to tell the story of how she came from a very poor family living in villages, but they were always driven away due to their poverty. They managed to find a peaceful place to live once, but their situation remained difficult. Her mother worked as a midwife, and her father harvested wheat, but what they earned was too little to survive. To make matters worse, her father fell seriously ill, coughing up blood, indicating something was terribly wrong. To avoid being a burden, he decided to jump into the river, and he was found deceased the next day. Since her mother couldn't care for her, she was given to a merchant who promised a dignified life and assured she would never go hungry. However, that's when the scam begins, as she ended up becoming the food, and clients didn't like looking at her. In that place, she faced judgment and was always sidelined because she could only eat if she could secure a customer, which was very difficult. Amidst this, there was Komomo, a woman with a kind heart who always helped when she could. When others would mock her, Komomo would defend her. She shares that she was in that place, waiting for her prince to come so she could live a life of luxury. This sparked jealousy, as she was the youngest and prettiest, and everyone always chose her. But life isn't so simple. The owner of the place appears and accuses someone of stealing her valuable jade ring, worth more than their lives. In her room, there was a little plant that Komomo liked to use. This is where things start going downhill. They begin doing various things to make her confess. As a luxury commodity, they could do anything except touch her face and visible parts. They start burning her armpit, but even after that, she doesn't say anything. They then take multiple needles and put them under her fingernails, crossing all limits. Komomo remains silent, clearly innocent. They open her mouth and start putting needles in her gums. If you're having lunch, I recommend chewing properly because when you're done, you won't choke on your food. Now, to lighten the mood, leave a like and subscribe with the notification bell activated. Let's continue. After enduring so much humiliation, she decides to confess and claims she did take the ring but had lost it. This moment of peace arrives, and folks, if I knew it was this easy, I'd be rich already. Now she's broken, and the geisha appears to bring her some water, but she's already deceased. Michael is furious, but he senses something's wrong. She must have been hiding something. A deep voice starts speaking, and here comes another plot twist. It turns out she, the geisha, took the ring for its beautiful stone. Komomo saw what she did, but didn't say anything. To avoid getting caught, she blamed her only friend, and with a friend like that, it's better to be alone. After everything she went through, the geisha arrives to give her some water to recover for a few more days of work. However, she realizes the woman is in a terrible state and decides to end her suffering. So, here's the plot twist. It's all her fault, and she's the one who caused all this to happen. And she even ended her life. But she justifies herself, saying she did it so the woman could go to heaven and stop suffering on earth. And if you're not tired of plot twists, get ready for another one. Michael gets angry and insists on knowing everything. Something starts emerging from his head, and she reveals that in reality, her family wasn't that poor, and her mother wasn't a midwife but instead worked as a puppeteer. I think we all get the implication. She goes on to share that she would always be beaten by her husband, who was actually a crazy drunk. After working so much, she ended up having a daughter. Having a woman during that time was very challenging because they weren't allowed to work. So, she decided to get rid of the puppet. The problem was that when she returned 2 days later, the young girl was still alive. From then on, she was raised learning what her mother did. However, they were always judged because even back then, it was seen as something bad. And if you're not satisfied with the plot twists yet, here's another one for you. They were actually expelled from where they lived because her father was actually her uncle, her mother's brother. When things start bad, we know they're going to end even worse. She decides to reveal herself, and we understand why people were afraid of her. She wasn't just one person, she was two. Her twin sister was a hidden hand in her head, forcing her to do bad things. She wanted that jewel, and in the end, Michael realizes he's going crazy with all these twists and turns and shoots her. However, she claims she can't be killed. When he wakes up, he's in prison, considered mad. Their spirits are there to torment him. So, that's why you need to leave a like and subscribe, because if you're going to go crazy, let it be in a sane way. Now I'm off, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's home to me, and I